Hey, good evening. Welcome everyone to TMI, Too Much Information Live with me, Moondog, and we have a special group of guests tonight. We are here for the IT support group in a way, and if you are a nerd, if you are geek enough to know what the image it is that I use for the thumbnail, um, please post it up on the side chat. But it's all I want to give you guys a early heads up. Of course, we're going to be doing the early bird clue today as well. But because it is a tech support, IT support night, well, I don't have anything to give away that's specifically tech support. But here is something that has tech in it. It is a Caltech patch. So first four winners who email me the correct answer tonight will get a Caltech patch and sticker. So let's get started with the show today. And speaking of tech, if you are online at any point, I highly recommend you try out Aura, which is the online cybersecurity company that I use to help protect me online. They've got a whole suite of services like spam blockers and data broker removal and a VPN. So try them out. It's absolutely free for 14 days using my code aura.com/moondog. And they've been a longtime sponsor of mine, so I like to give them a plug. And I'm going to give you a special sneak preview that we will also have a new sponsor coming up as well after I get a chance to try them out. But here's a little sneak preview for everybody out there. It's Jerky. It's Jerky. So we're hopefully going to have them as a sponsor soon. So Mad Hat Jerky. I've been trying some of their flavors out there. They're great. So hopefully they'll be signing on as a sponsor as well. And of course, since this is a fairly small-ish channel, it's not like my sponsorships are like a big company that sponsors a show where I get a amount of money for doing a show for plugging them. No, I actually do like the services and the products that I plug on the show. But it's one of those deals where if you make use of the product, then I do get a little commission. But that's I'm just being upfront with everybody. I'm not going to plug a product or a service that I don't personally use and actually enjoy. So if you want to try them out, I do recommend that you try out aura.com. And honestly, let me know how they work for you, how it works for you. Try them out for free and use my link so that they know that it's coming from me. So anyway, let's move on to our early bird clue. And as I mentioned, for those of you out there who the prize today is a Caltech, hence the tech connection here for the prize of the show. Caltech patch. And here's your early bird clue. So for those of you who happen to be listening, sorry, it's a visual clue, but this is the logo of the company. And this is their new-ish version of their logo. I think they introduced it in 2013 or thereabouts. It's about as plain vanilla version of a logo as you can get, but I'll try to describe it for you. It's a window with 4 colored squares. I think that's a good clue. Okay, so if you know who the company is that's in this logo, what I want you to do is send me an email with the name of the company in the subject line with a hashtag, preferably. That makes it easier for me to do the search in my email inbox. But send it to me at contest@moondogindustries.com, and I'll post it in the side chat right now. But send it to contest@moondogindustries.com. The answer to which company this is, whose logo is looks like a window with 4 different colors. Okay, so let's get into the new videos this week. I just posted up a video of this launch of the new product from Mantis, which is this training Glock pistol, and it is a rechargeable battery operated simulated pistol. And by simulated, it doesn't shoot anything other than a laser, which is still pretty cool in of itself. So you can consider it a laser gun or a laser pointer because you can have it constant on. But the thing about this is that the trigger pull, the weight, the size, and is pretty much a one-on-one analog for a Glock 19 Gen 5, and even includes a droppable magazine that is weighted like a real magazine, but again, it is just a piece of plastic with a metal. I'm presuming a metal weight inside of it. You get two of them actually, and the 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 laser pistol itself is actually the top of the simulated slide, because the slide doesn't move, has a holes so you can mount any RMR or RMSC optic on it. So it'll fit into a standard Glock holster that would fit a Glock 19. It's a great training simulator, and best of all, it's got built-in motion detection gyroscopes inside of it, and hooking up to their Mantis's downloadable software, it can diagnose, it can sense how you're moving the pistol, every tiny little jiggle, every and how you are moving the pistol, and how you're affecting your trigger. It is the best tool for diagnosing your trigger pull and all the little mistakes that you make, whether you're slamming the trigger, whether you're pushing forward and anticipating recoil. Every little subtle thing you do with your fingers is recorded and shown to you by the Manta. So here, let me show you a little teaser of the short that I posted up on this. Glock 19 simulator has trigger pull sensors, motion tracking, and a laser impact designator. The first thing I did was zero out the laser for a target 10 feet away, and I've aligned it to my iron sight so that now every time I pull the trigger, it lights up where the bullet would have impacted on that target. And since we previously connected the Mantis app to the Titan X, we can start training. And I can immediately see how my trigger pull affects my point of impact by looking at the laser. Finally a good trigger pull. And the best way for me to learn how to do that consistently is to make a lot of mistakes and to learn from them. So I don't know if you could see at the bottom of that screen what it was showing on my phone. After I pull every trigger, it diagnoses what I was doing at the point that the trigger is pulled. And what's great about this is that the trigger resets. You don't have to rack the slide to reset the trigger every time. So you could just do this at home, in your office, or wherever safely, because nothing shoots out other than light. So that is what I posted up on my 2A channel, and on my Moondog Reviews channel, I posted up a review of the Tracked Toric UHD 8-32. These are their most compact binoculars, but they are really bright and clear. They use German shot glass highlight transference. Here you go. We are looking through the Toric 8-power binoculars. Let's start by taking a look at some wildlife, or at least some foliage, while we're looking for wildlife. What I can see is this tree stump, which is about 45 feet away. Some pretty good detail here. While I can't find any birds in the foliage nearby, I do see one bird high above us, about 200 feet up. There appears to be a hawk, and I can't identify this. I'm not a birder, but if you happen to know which species of hawk this is, please leave me a comment. Now, unfortunately, I don't think it captured
Next,
in the
let's
video,
take these binoculars out to the range and look at some reference targets
at a known distance. All right, so, I thought there was more of that footage, but I guess there wasn't. Anyway, that's the end of that video. And on my Moondog Go channel, I posted a quick little walkthrough of the Fulton Street subway station in New York. Now, this is when it was reopened. It was reopened after about 15 years after 9/11, because it was also damaged during the destruction of the towers, because of it was adjoining the underground system there. They spent a ton, I don't know how many millions of dollars redoing the station. It is beautiful, but unfortunately, because of the policies in New York City, and just the lack of enforcement of crime enforcement there's so much petty theft and shoplifting that most of the stores in the Fulton Street Mall just closed. The companies, the chain stores or the individual stores, this couldn't take the constant losses from theft, and they pretty much. I think there's only like one or two stores that were open at the time. It was kind of like a little tiny little shopping mall inside of the main Fulton Street station. But again, it's a beautiful place. It's just a shame, and I've got to worry about what's going to go on with New York. It's feeling like it's going to be the 70s again back there. But anyway, let me share a little bit of that video. So you can see it's a multi-story station with each of those floors has retail space. But aside from those like 3 stores, one including a Dunkin' Donuts on the bottom, it was entirely all the other stores were shuttered. So that's just the level of crime that would just shut down the whole place. And it's not just New York. It also happened in San Francisco. This huge mall in downtown, basically the entire mall was shuttered because they've just had too much crime, too much shoplifting. Can you believe that things can get that bad that just by shoplifting? Anyway. Maybe that's a whole nother topic. Hopefully I can get maybe some folks some cops to talk about that. But some other time. Let's move on. So I want to ask you for your thoughts and suggestions for a thumbnail for an upcoming video that I'm going to be posting up this weekend. And this is a review of a dash cam. And this is kind of an interesting dash cam. It is what you're seeing here, if you can see this, that's the dash cam. It takes over. You place it on top of your rear view mirror, and it's actually about, I'd say 30% wider, bigger than my rear view mirror. And it converts it into a digital rear view mirror or backup camera, as well as a dash cam. So it records what's going on in front of you. You can, in terms of, so you have a recording of what happened before an accident, and also on your rear, so they can, because a lot of people get, rear-ended. So you have it has a camera that you can attach to it that you can set up in the back or outside of your vehicle. And you could also use it as a backup camera. So it is the Gecko Gear D400. And if you have any thoughts as a good headline thumbnail for the thumbnail, post it on the side chat. This is the one one of the suggestions I'm going to go with is backup. And if you have any thoughts about that, I'd appreciate it. And the one other thing if you saw a couple of episodes back, we had the folks from Viewroid from Korea who are talking about their dash cam that I also tested out. This does not, the camera, the footage is not nearly as good. This is about half the price of the Viewroid, but yeah, no way it doesn't come near as good in terms of the footage, but the screen is just freaking huge, and it's kind of cool in that way as well. So it's a little bit unusual. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions as to a good thumbnail headline for that, post it up or leave me a comment. And I'll try to, if it's good, if I get some likes on your posted comment, well, I'll include it in the mix, because I can post up to 3 different thumbnails for a video that I put on YouTube. And the way the algorithm works, it randomly serves up one of those 3 videos, and so it's kind of, they call it A/B testing. So depending on which thumbnail a person sees and clicks on, the presumption is that thumbnail is much more effective. If of the three, one gets picked on 10-20% more than the other, obviously that is more effective as a thumbnail than the other ones. So that's what I'm looking for, is ideas for alternates to this particular headline. All right, so let's move on. And here's the next clue on the name, the brand, which is this company was founded by Bill Gates and Paul Allen to market basic interpreters for the Altair 8800. And if you've never heard of what the Altair 8800 is, that means you're not old like me. So those were a much older mini computers back in the day. But anyway, this company was founded by Bill Gates and Paul Allen, and it grew to become one of the largest and richest companies in the world. So if you know who this is, send me an email and send it to contest@moondogindustries.com and put into the subject line the name of the company, hashtag the name of the company, and put into the body of the email your ship to information, so I can mail you your prize, which is going to be a Caltech patch and a decal from Caltech. All right. So the first 4 correct answers will get a prize. All right. So let's get down to the rabbit hole, because we got a couple of guests tonight. And this one, before we introduce our first guest, I just wanted to tell you, for those of you who may not know what the thumbnail was for this particular episode today, it comes from this TV show called The IT Crowd, the IT Crowd, or the IT Crowd to be correct. It was a British television sitcom originally broadcast in 2006, and I can't believe it was already 2006. It was like already almost 20 years ago. It was created by Graham Linehan. I think it's Linehan or Linehan, and starring Chris O'Dowd, Richard Ayoade, Catherine Parkinson, and Matt Berry. And there was also a couple of other members of the cast, recurring cast. And there was a failed attempt, I believe, about 10 years ago, maybe more, to create a US version of this show after the success of The Office, which was also originally a British TV comedy. But the pilot of the US version of the IT Crowd just wasn't funny, even though they did include Richard Ayoade as one of the cast members as well. It just didn't have the same chemistry, and it just kind of flopped. I saw some scenes from it, and it just did not land as funny as the original cast. And if you get a chance to watch the show either on YouTube or on BritBox or I don't know if they show it on public television or what have you, it's well worth watching. It's funny, especially if you like British comedy. This is kind of smart. It's about a group of misfits who work in the IT department at this big corporation, and just all of their travails and having to deal with the rest of the company and people who are not tech savvy. And the little twist is that one of the execs from who is not a tech person at all, I forget the reason why now, but she gets put in charge of the IT department, even though she has no technical skills or experience at all. And so there's a little bit of a fish out of water story as well, and how she's trying to interface with the 2 IT guys, the 2 nerds, the 2 geeks, and their not very social, and their kind of lack of general social skills, or at least not fitting into the general corporate culture. But that aside, I thought this is a special episode where we have a panel of guests who are all IT professionals. So let me start introducing them to today. I'll bring them in one at a time. We have Tim Mooney here. Tim, how are you?
All right.
So Tim Mooney is an IT professional from Michigan. And Tim, give us a little background about you and where you come and where you're working from.
Okay. Thanks for letting me be on the show. Anyways, I started out after I graduated high school, went to junior college, got a degree in electronics, then worked for Zenith Data Systems, a computer company, for several years, and they shut down. And then I worked for a small shop repairing computers, and then I got into IT after that.
Okay, so this was Zenith?
Yeah.
Oh, so the TV company.
Yeah, they have a separate division called Zenith Data Systems.
Oh, okay.
There used to be a company called Heathkit,
Oh,
which
right. Yeah.
made radios, and
Hmm.
were making home computers. And then Zenith bought out the computer division.
And so they were putting, I never saw a Zenith a computer, but I'm sure, a lot of those companies are the bigger tech, the bigger electronics companies tried to get into tech because they didn't have um, the in-house expertise or the manufacturing, so they would just start smaller companies. I remember that period. So great, thank you for joining us, Tim. We'll talk a little bit more about your IT background, but I also wanted to bring in our next guest, who is Ian Conley. Ian, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Very good. Your mic volume is a little bit low. Tim, you're probably a little bit hot, but you're okay.
Is that any better?
Oh yeah, a lot better now.
There you go. I turned the volume up a little bit. So how's it going?
Very good. Ian has been a previous guest on this show before. He is an IT, again, also an IT professional, works for the federal government.
Correct.
But of course, were you working in the last 40 days?
I have every day.
You have, despite the shutdown. So, did that affect your workflow at all?
No, not at all. I'm actually a subcontractor, so my project was already fully funded. So I was working every day. Problem was, a lot of the customers that we support are all, we call them feds, and they were not working. So there wasn't a whole lot going on the last month or so. But after the events of tonight, we'll see how that ramps up.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Oh, I realized I forgot to. I got queued up a scene from the show. Did you guys have both? I know both of you guys have watched the IT Crowd
many times.
Yes. So you guys will appreciate this working in IT. So let me put this up on stage. Oh, okay. Did you see anything? Because I didn't see anything on screen.
No.
All tech support.
Okay, let me try it again. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Hello, IT. Yeah, have you tried turning it off and on again?
Hello, IT?
Something's wrong with my computer.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
No. Oh dear, thanks.
Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Have you tried sticking it up your arse?
Yeah. How many? I know that being in IT is works more than just being on the help desk, but I'm sure you've all been there.
Oh yeah, I actually started out on the help desk for an ISP, back when we all had dial-up. Yeah, that was usually the first question. So.
What about you, Tim?
Yeah, pretty much. One of the issues that we used to have, it used to be more or less with the older Windows, was you'd have resource leaks and stuff with the operating system. It would just start to flake out, and the only way you can fix it is to shut things off, turn it back on again.
Now, as far as when I have a broader, sort of a broad stroke understanding of what the actual is going on from resource leaks, from having done basic programming and being in computers from back in the day. But could you explain that to the rest of the folks who might be watching who may not know what a resource leak actually means or entails as far as the computer and its operating system?
Yeah, and generally there's just so much code and stuff going on in the background. There's several processes, and sometimes stuff doesn't open up and work and then shut down and hang up like it's supposed to. And it'll just get moody. That's what I can think of. And the computer has a fit, basically.
Oh yeah, and if I remember back in the day, especially with computers, memory was expensive, so you don't have a lot of RAM available. So a lot of those resources have to be shared among the different parts or the program and different parts of the operating system. So things have to actually release some of that memory so something else can do something, and sometimes they don't do that correctly. And so you run out of resources. Oh, hey, we got a new we have a new panelist joining us. So let me bring him in. So we have Hasbro. Hasbro, how are you, sir? Now, Hasbro used to work for Apple, if I'm correct, back in the day. Hopefully, you kept a hold of some of that stock and didn't sell it in the 90s.
Oh no. The way they worked is they gave you stock options. And when I went to Apple, they gave you stock options. They were worth a lot in climbing. But when I left, they were going the other way, and I would have had to pay to exercise my options.
Oh, okay. So, that kind of sucked.
Yeah, so that really didn't help me. But I did bring this along.
Ooh.
This is from the real heydays.
Yeah,
one of the very first power books. This is a 140 that I helped engineer all the plastics on and work on the Cray supercomputer, analyzing it and all that sort of stuff. So I decided, where are you going to go? I thought, well, I'm going to bring a toy with me.
I liked that. So you worked on the Cray to design that? To design the shape?
Yeah.
Was that just
the joke was Seymour Cray used an Apple to design the Cray, and then Apple was using the Cray to design Macs. So
it's the circle.
Yeah, it was actually and then there's a whole history to that. But yeah, I was the primary user on the Cray.
It was a $20 million supercomputer. And it's probably got the same processing power as an iPhone nowadays.
Yeah, actually, the first one I think was maybe 10 million. And I got there and I started using it. It was an XMP. And because of some work I did, they justified buying me a new one. It was just faster, a YMP. And that was 6.5 million. And then about 2.5 years later, they decided, hey, we don't need engineering at all. We'll just buy it. And out the door you go. It was a strange time.
That's wild.
The first time I saw one, I was on that movie Sneakers. There's one in the computer room.
Mm-hmm.
They were just gorgeous looking too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from a industrial design standpoint.
Oh, they did. And Apple set it up in a building in Santa Clara that was like a Taj Mahal. Literally, that's how they designed it. So you would come in the door, turn, and go down this hallway, and had this vaulted ceiling. And then you'd turn again and open up to a computer room, and it was sealed, and they had a platform so people could lecture about the Cray. And so I'm doing tours all the time, trying to do my work too, and all this stuff. They had a lot of fun with it. So,
well, I hope they kept it somewhere, at least as a sculptural piece.
That's a big paperweight. They had it's just a lot of details, but at the time, backups of your computers. They had a program they wrote called Replicant, and backing up all the computers on Apple's network. But it was a tape robot system. So what they did was they had this enclosed room. It was like a hollow cylinder, and then it had tapes on the inside, a gap, tapes on the outside, and a robot that spun at 200 miles an hour. It would accelerate from 0 to 200 to go 180 degrees to grab the tape and decelerate. I don't know how the thing didn't shatter.
How much
amazing.
Those weigh? Those are like giant cake holder things, right?
Well, imagine it's like a bunch of 8-track tapes. That's about the size these cassettes were.
Mm-hmm.
And then the arm inside was supported, really well. It had to be. And it would just go up, grab a tape, spin around, put it in drive, and go back. But it was crazy how much it was 1 terabyte of storage. Imagine that now. Back then,
that was a crazy amount of storage.
Yeah, a lot of tapes.
That it's
anyway.
It's amazing how we live in the future now. It's kind of wild.
When I was living, you guys can probably relate to this, but when I was living in the Bay Area, basically everything was 10 years ahead of what you'd see in the Midwest where I grew up. I mean, we had DVD players in 1990, right? And it's like, wait a minute, it was everybody just didn't really relate to these things. So,
well, it's different when you're working in companies that have that kind of money to do the research in house when the stuff that you have access to, and it's kind of wild. I don't even know what they could be working on now, but just get little hints of what I'm seeing in the news or what people are talking about in podcasts about AI, which is a whole nother topic. I guess we could get into that. A lot of the folks who are working in software development and IT is dovetails with that is as how they're using large language models to develop software, and it's gonna like kick out the bottom rung of the ladder for everybody who's getting into the business. So I don't was it 10 years ago there was or 15 years ago that the cynical suggestion about anybody who's out of a job is learn to code. Well, now that's not even an option.
Yeah, maybe not. I think it's a real threat in my work. It accelerates certain parts of it, but it's when you program the logic and the decision making into it on what you do with this engineering data that we get that you really will replace jobs. So, where it's going though.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of, there's the whole debugging section of the industry. I could totally see AI working on that. And okay, all of you at some point have worked, done professional, if not casual, help desk work. Certainly, even if you have never worked in that department, every relative has called you up to ask for help, right? How do I set up my Wi-Fi router or whatever? And there's probably thousands of people working in the United States and hundreds of thousands more working overseas in these phone banks, doing tech support for people. But those large language model AI are good enough. And most of the times they're doing, decision trees anyway. They're just typing it in manually. Like what's the symptom that's what's going on here. And then they'll just read off of the display, right? But now the voice synthesizers are so good that they can understand what people are asking and bring it up. I don't know.
They showed it in the IT crowd when Roy uses a coupler modem and a reel-to-reel. He knew what the question was going to be and he had the answer ready, but it's the same thing. It's predictive reasoning, and it's going to change a lot of things.
Where do you think this is going to go? Like, let's start, Tim. From an AI standpoint and jobs, how do you think that's going to affect things?
Well, working in the help desk, in tech support, and anytime we resolved a problem, we'd have to document how we fixed it. And I see AI will obviously look at those records and look for answers that already existed.
Are you already seeing any of that in the companies that you've worked for in terms of have they started incorporating any of that?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Well, it may be in behind the scenes, like you're saying, in terms of documenting, because everybody's that I know who's works, typing up reports or anywhere have started using, a chat bot to, help them fill out their reports. Ian, you work in the government. Have you? And the government is notoriously slow to incorporate any kind of tech.
No, they're working on implementing it in different, obviously different avenues how they're going to do it. It's not going to affect me personally so much because what I do, in my skill set, there's always going to be people breaking stuff. So there's always going to have to be people fixing stuff. And oddly enough, in the 30 years that I've been doing what I do, even though the environment is always the same, there's always that ghost in the machine where something that should work doesn't work, or something that doesn't work does work. Do you know what I mean? So there's always going to have to be that person there to kind of figure out the hauntedness of what I do. Now, what AI is going to do is it's going to replace designers. It's going to replace, at least for what I've been doing the past 30 years or so, actually say 15, what I've been doing. The big thing is more, I'm going to use the word content, but not in the way most people think of content now, right? It's more the information sharing, right? Because I was in healthcare for a while, and now I'm in government. It's all about just the informational content. So there's people writing that content, writing the websites, writing the interfaces. AI is going to take over stuff like that, but there's still always going to have to be a human behind a keyboard fixing the ghost. So I'm lucky, but that also means that eventually I'm going to turn into an AI administrator, which I don't want to do. That's not what I do. It's not what I've been doing for the last 30 years. So I don't want to have to fix the code of a code. You know what I mean? But we'll see.
Hasbro, you've been a little more in the weeds of these these big tech companies and designing hardware and materials. And I'm sure you're still talking to folks who are over at Apple and now probably other big tech companies in Silicon Valley. Where do you see this going?
I think it's a lot like Ian said. It's going to take away a lot of the mundane tasks, the interfacing, things like that. The key thing is all AI right now has built-in biases, right? And it really shows up when you ask the questions. But you have to have people smart enough to know what the answers should be, to check these things. And unfortunately, a lot of people are just going to believe it, and you can get some seriously wrong answers. And so in the engineering field, that can get people hurt, right? So you have to really have some checks and balances. Now, it'll learn, it continues to learn, and it amazes me what it does now. But there's still things where it'll make a conclusion based on what it has a set of rules for that is not necessarily the correct conclusion or the best conclusion. But again, all that will evolve. And so a lot of the design tasks today are going away. They're being automated to some degree. But where you have to really deep think and solve a problem, that's still being driven by the human brain at this point. But we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. G23 just posted up there. IBM has been laying off a lot of employees and replacing them with robots and AI. And that's been going on since, I was a student back in the day. They're talking about, robots replacing people on the assembly line of, putting the boards together and whatnot. And it's just accelerated now. And I can't go too many headlines without seeing, massive layoffs on the service side of software of big companies. Facebook is laying off folks. YouTube is laying off whole divisions. And they just sent out a questionnaire to content creators, and it was a rather long questionnaire. Actually, I thought it would only be like 5 questions. It was more like 20. But part of it, I could already tell from the way they were asking the questions about what kind of support I was getting from people at YouTube, which I've of course generally said 0 in terms of direction. But a lot of it, I could read between the lines. They were saying, well, could we replace these people with technology? Yeah, I think you probably could, because certainly a lot of the content review is already being done by AI. At least it feels like it to me. Now, let me turn this on its head to you guys, and a lot of you work on more not just software, but the tangibles, the engineering and the electronic side of things, or at least have a grounding in that. If you were to suggest to a young person nowadays who's going into high school or college, what career should they go into if they are interested in, or if they were previously told you should get into software development or you should get into or have a science background, knowing knowing the unknown, not knowing the unknowns moving forward. What career path would you suggest to them? Let me just go back around. Tim, what would you say?
I'd definitely say you can start out in the hardware support area, but
Tim,
more times than
okay.
And so,
could you repeat that? You froze for a second.
It's AI cutting me off.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time working with the hardware at the ground level, and I'd say just keep learning. So, because hardware is more reliable than it's ever been, and it's only like a finite resource. There's always new stuff coming out, and well, I guess like I said, it's more reliable than it's ever been. So, if you want to keep working, you have to do something where there is a problem versus there's not a problem.
Ian, you've got a son. It's going to be a few years before he has to, worry about where he's going to go with his life. But
I keep telling him to get a job, but I have two answers, and I think it all depends on the route the student wants to go. If they want to go hardware, they want to do engineering, I would say high tier clustering, cloud computing, because especially what I do now, I have no physical servers that I maintain. Every single thing I maintain is virtual. Granted, they're all running somewhere. So be the person who runs the somewhere. Software, game design. That's it. Game design. There's always going to be people who need games. They're only getting better and better. Why not?
I would have agreed with you, but just today, Elon Musk posted on X some footage from Grok. It's canned footage, but his comment was, just imagine how this is going to look in a game. So I as coming from a creative background, mostly myself, I can see AI totally taking over animation, creating movies and films. I didn't think that was possible, but it's only one more step to creating games on the fly.
Yes, I agree. But at the same time, if you look at the more popular games that are out now, you're looking at a lot of open world games where you don't have to follow a script to get from point A to point B. You do it however you want. So the software has to be flexible enough to allow you to do whatever you want. Like we discussed earlier, AI has the answer. It has to be smart enough to have the answers from somebody. Yes, it is learning, and it's going to figure out those answers for itself. But until it does, somebody needs to write every single possible iteration of what the character can do. Now, if you want to have AI write a movie, you give it a start, you give it a climax, you give it an end, and let it run. Okay, fine. It's going to end somewhere. It knows how to get there. With an open-ended video game, an open world video game doesn't know how to get there because there is no there. You know what I mean?
What we used to call gameplay, right? In the late 70s, early 80s, a lot of the simple games, really good gameplay. The graphics weren't necessarily the end game, but how you played it, you could tell intelligence. And that is probably to your point, right? It's like you can tell when there's a mind behind it and goals ahead of you versus just graphics.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I can still sit down and play like Civ 3, and I'd still prefer playing that to any newer version of that, just because of the gameplay. To your point, Hasbro. So okay, let's continue on. The same question. What would you recommend to like younger students where they should be going for
I'm
their own
sort
safety.
of, yeah, I'm with these guys. It's like more application, the systems behind driving AI. Like there's a lot of support systems. These things take incredible amounts of energy. They're talking about micro nuclear reactors to drive and power them.
Oh, true.
Big farms, big buildings, right? There's going to be a lot of support, and AI is not going to be able to do that. Robots not going to be able to do that. Work on the systems, install the systems, maintain them. So that'd be a good thing. On the other side of things, on the application side, to me, would be things where life and death matter. Okay, so in those cases, like in the medical field, AI will help. Maybe help. It already is helping generate drugs and things like, and do certain tasks of surgery. But where life really matters, you probably won't see it take over completely. And to a large degree, I'm also a pilot, and maybe this is the control freak in me, but I never want total automation when I'm flying. Now, when you're flying in the clouds and you can't see in bad weather, having certain tasks like what we call wing leveling and attitude or altitude control, that's a good thing because you have many other things to do. But to trust it to totally make all decisions when life's on the line, yeah, that's not me. I'm not going to do that. Because the human brain is still faster, still the fastest computer out there. And hopefully, if you've been trained right, your decision making will be very fast too. So,
absolutely. Now, I'm a little worried about asking this question just because what do they tell you? Don't talk about politics or music in a mixed room. But it sort of dovetails with the previous question about what career path and technology would you recommend? There were the next question I would ask is, where do you recommend people to go to? Do you think that back in the day there were good electronics trade schools or technology trade schools? I don't even know if that kind of system exists anymore. But of course, with the woke brigade taking over a lot of the universities, even highly respected engineering schools like MIT have gone a little wacko in terms of the administration. What would you recommend people do? Of course, like I'll just throw this one out there for everybody. To Hesburgh's point, all these big servers need to be powered by something, and nuclear is a good way to go. So, yeah, if you want to get a nuclear engineering, you could always join the Navy. So, anyway, Tim, what's your suggestion? Where would you go to school for tech nowadays?
Well, originally I started out with an electronics degree, and back then the popular schools were IDT and DeVry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like in the southwest of Michigan, and there were people going over the border to Indiana, and then Indiana Tech was a good. He had several good tech programs. And another thing I was thinking out when you talk about career paths, I know, and I've worked with several people that were electricians, and that's a good skill trade. It's
absolutely.
Like, there's always
it pays well.
There's always buildings being built and renovated, especially renovation. When they tear anything out and put anything in, they got to rewire everything. So that's another good path.
Yeah, somebody's got to build and wire all these server farms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a flip, right? We're from very high-end, high-tech, a lot of high-degree jobs, switching toward now the trade jobs will be in more demand and paying more. I think you're going to see a flip because a lot of the other jobs will go away.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of feeling that. I think that's a good point. Good call.
Yeah, I've never seen an electrician get laid off. They always used to get more
Right.
hours.
Yeah.
Good point.
Ian, where do you think?
I'm the odd duck in my industry. I didn't go to school. I don't have a degree. I didn't go to college. I didn't join the military and learn to trade through there. I found that I was good at picking up certain things. was able to get my way in as just a phone operator at an ISP, and I literally learned on the job. And I knew that, hey, this thing that I'm doing, I could do so much more with it. Let me figure out how. And I worked my way up and worked my way up till I was finally running the place. And then I started to find bigger jobs and learn more, and find bigger jobs and learn more. And now I'm in such a niche skill set that if there's not a lot of places looking for what I do, but when they are, it's not hard for me to get in because my environment never changes. I can work for any industry and the work doesn't change. It's the same thing. So I can't answer the question because I don't know.
Well,
I don't know anything about how schooling works for electrical engineering or for computer engineering. I don't know.
Now,
Never did it.
Let me ask you, do you find that from that has any perhaps limited you in terms of, like, I know HR departments oftentimes they'll have these arbitrary rules that you have to have a degree to take that position.
Yeah, and that's true. And I've been able to skirt past that with my years of experience.
So it's the resume and the certifications.
Yeah, for me, I don't have any of those either.
Oh,
to be completely honest.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
you didn't have to do the certs. Oh,
Nope.
well, that's great.
Like I said, I've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah.
And if you look at the resume, you see the different industries and the places I've worked for. It says enough that I can adapt well to any situation. There are certain industries I won't work for. We can get to that next question if you want. But yeah, so I guess really all depends on how you learn and how you can apply what you've learned. Like me, I can't learn from a book. I have to do it. It has to be explained to me or at least shown to me once or twice. Then I have to actually make it part of my activities, and then I don't forget it. So, back in, was it 2025? So almost 25 years ago, I was subcontracting for the military. If they turned on those systems I was maintaining back then, today, I could jump right back in and make them.
And they probably are.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Some of those are, yeah.
Yeah,
they probably are using some of the same hardware.
I hope not. One of the systems I had to work with at an Air Force base in Oklahoma, if you had to reboot the server suite, the day was over. It took 5 hours to reboot. So just forget it.
Lights go down.
Yeah, it was bad. So,
Hasbro, have you, well, you didn't get into your background, where you went to school.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
I'm sort of aligned with this guy. Get my thumb going right. Camera's backwards. That guy. I went to, this is kind of a real long story. I was telling this story, but I went to a school here in Indiana where I finally found what I wanted to do. And it was in plastic engineering, but I didn't know that's what I want to do. I was really good at photography in high school, won a bunch of awards. So I went in as a photojournalism major until I realized I would be a starving artist, literally.
You would have
couldn't even make a living. So that was out. And then I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. And I happened to find this part of the school and did that. But I'm the worst of all students. I'm going to say this, and I hope you don't take it wrong. My father was a PhD teaching advanced biology and zoology. Mother had her master's teaching art. And they, especially my dad, just expected that all of his kids would get perfect straight A's. Okay. Well, I didn't, except, I get C's and B's. And so he sends me into this college place to get tested. Like, what's wrong with this kid? And they end up coming back and says, oh, he has a really high IQ. He just has to figure out what he likes. And this is a fatal flaw. This is a terrible flaw with me. Yeah. Is that if I like it, I don't even have to try. It's so easy for me. But if I don't, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's not a conscious choice. And, I can try all I want. That's just the way it is. So when I found something I like, which was more application based, engineering based, like, okay, I figured out how to take these plastics and actually design and make stuff and then go out to the machines and actually do it and make the molds, this is cool to me, right? I got to do real theoretical to hands-on, not just theoretical. So that was what I like to do. And in that, then I got into computer simulations of all this work and did that sort of stuff. But sort of to get all the way back around to Ian's point, do you see that? I got the finger going the right way. I'm learning, right? I'm learning.
You are.
I did a lot of training when I got out of college for the software company that writes this simulation software. I went to work for them.
Oh, okay.
So I started doing training. I trained thousands of people over the first 4 years I worked there. And the hardest person to train was the chemical engineer PhD, because they just lived in the theory and they really had no grasp of reality.
Yeah,
And mechanical, same way. But the guy that learned the fastest graduated from the 6th grade, became a janitor at a molding shop, worked himself up to running the machines. The owner of the company goes, "Hey, I heard about this new software. Why don't you go learn it?" He was easier to train because he just wanted to learn how to make the tool work.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's a biggest skill set, is somebody can just see it, grasp what it's doing, and make it work.
100%.
All right, that was a long way around back to Ian's point. I did it again.
But yeah, I'm not exactly the same way, but it's similar. It's just, if there's something I'm interested in, I'll dive right into it and I will learn it, and I'm not going to say master it, but I'm good enough to say I can do this thing or I know this thing. But if I'm not interested, forget it. It's gone.
Yeah. You hit that wall. So,
and kids out there, that's not a good trait, but it's the way I am.
you know, it's not like you have a choice. It's just the way you are, right?
Right.
It truly is. And I've never been able to break that.
I think we can all identify with that to some degree. I certainly can. Now, I'm realizing where I really got into this, just talking to you guys about this topic, and we're almost at the end of our hour. So I want to wrap up and just want to thank you guys individually, and also give you an opportunity to talk about what anything that you want to plug for this coming week or season. Tim, what do you got that you're working on? I know you we didn't even get to talk about shooting. Have you it's getting kind of cold weather up there in Michigan?
We had snow for the last 2 days.
Okay, so you haven't been out to the range.
Thawed out, but by this weekend it's supposed to get up to like 65 degrees. So
that's gonna warm up again. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
you're not anywhere near Kalamazoo, are you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
South of Kalamazoo, about an hour south.
That's where I lived and worked for that company for several years, is in Kalamazoo.
Yeah, I'm down by Buchanan and Bridgman and Baroda.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right on. So hopefully with that warmer weather, you'll get back out to the range and get shooting again. So Ian, what are you working on aside from the Department of Interior?
Nothing, to be completely honest. I can't really say much because I actually just did my yearly corporate training today, and one of the things is you can't talk about what we do. It's like, fine, whatever. Outside of the biggest thing right now is I'm looking forward to a big cricket tournament that starts a little over.
Oh, that's cool.
That's the only thing I really only worried about right now is an England versus Australia tournament that happens every 18 months or so.
So who are you rooting for?
Oddly enough, England.
I was going to say,
what is wrong?
The only English sports team that I'll support. I don't know why, just do. But and then looking forward to SHOT Show in January. That's it.
Oh, that's right. He's going to be Ian's going to be part of the crew. So looking forward to that as well. So Hasbro, what do you got working? What are you working on?
Well, I've been using AI the last few weeks. I use it a lot. The
new challenge target.
Challenge target for Christmas. So last year I did one based on a Christmas Story, Ralphie and all that stuff. We ran it for 2 months, which actually worked out great because if you got a Christmas present, you got to use it in January.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it gives you time. And so that's what I did this year. So we did one with Elf on the Shelf. And this is a great example what AI doesn't get right, right? So I got some good images. I had to rearrange them, make some logic to it. And it's typical, right? You get an elf with 3 hands.
Well,
wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's magical, but it's not that magical. But anyway, so yeah, I forgot that. We'll be starting up here December 1st, and it's for BB gun, pellet gun inside. So when the weather's bad, and Tim, you can relate to that, right? When the weather's bad, you do something else inside. And that's what I do. In fact, my shooting range is right behind me.
Nice.
and then 22 long rifle outside.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to you posting up that challenge target.
Yeah. Oh, you do get to shoot hillbilly on this one, by the way.
Oh,
it's here. He's a bonus point. You get to shoot hillbilly. Oh.
Excellent. Well, I see them all.
Everybody likes that.
He's on the side chat, so yeah. All right. So before we close up, I just wanted to finish out with the last clue on the contest and just do a couple plugs for myself. So let me bring up the stage here. So if you haven't already, check out moondogindustries.com/contest for my 2 contests that are going on this month, and it's 2 this month. You could win either a Noble X NV red dot sight, and this is a I believe retails at about $3.99. So this is a really bougie, nice German-made red dot sight, and they're letting me give away one of their sights. And the other prize that you could contest you can enter is to win a Claris E5 Plus, and this is a super thin. Let me bring this up here real quick. A super thin. This is how thin it is. And Hasbro, you could probably relate to the materials construction of this. This is a really nice EDC light, about probably even less, probably thinner than a lot of EDC knives out there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. I let's see. There you go. There. Pretty cool. Pretty relatively bright, very light, and very stylish. So it makes a great gift if you don't necessarily want an EDC light. So you can win one and give one away for this Christmas. So get into the contest at moondogindustries.com/contest, and you'll find details on how to enter either of those contests. And of course, if you're on the website, check out moondogindustries.com/yard sale. I've got a fundraiser going on there. You can donate to the fundraiser for the St. Anne 8th and 7th grade class trip to DC, and get one of the items that I've reviewed. So right now I have 2 items up there. One of them is a TPO 40 power scope. And our final clue tonight, and of course everybody on the panel is welcome to enter the contest. And to enter the contest, just name this brand, type in an email, you'll see out there, contest@moondogindustries.com. Send an email to me at that email address with the correct answer in the subject line, and put into the body of the email your mailing address. And the first 4 correct email answers I get will win a Kel-Tec, because we're talking about tech today, Kel-Tec patch. This company, I'm looking for the name here. This company rose to dominate personal computing operating systems, the system market, with MS-DOS back in the day, in the mid-'80s, followed by Windows, but largely missed on emerging trends and technologies such as the internet, digital music, and smartphones. But it did have one huge success in becoming a dominant company in gaming with the Xbox. So hopefully all of those clues should have been pretty obvious to everybody which company that I'm talking about here. So send me an email with the company name in the subject line, and you could win. The first 4 will win a Kel-Tec patch, a Kel-Tec decal. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining me. Tim, Ian, and Hasbro, thanks for joining me. I love this discussion about technology and getting into AI. Thanks for taking the time to join me tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, everybody, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. All right. Everybody, be safe out there. God bless. Moondog and guests out.
Hey, I'd like to know what you thought of this video. Leave me a comment or chat with me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, MeWe, Instagram, or Locals. And if you want to see all of my videos, go to moondogindustries.com.